Hey everybody, you know how Mouse likes recording videos and streaming with me? So she decided to say hi to you right in the beginning of this video. This video is going to be a little bit different. You all know how I like, if you come to my streams, you all know how I like discussing this law of attraction and positive thinking with you. Positive attitude is something that I have been interested in for a long time, ever since my parents started working in one business company and they were reading a lot of the stuff when I was like 14 or 13 years old. And I started reading all that, like Conversations with God, Paulo Coelho, books of Tony Robbins, and etc, etc, etc. And I was going to start with a very logical thing to start from, positive affirmations, and I made a script and I tried to record video a bunch of times, but it just didn't work out. And I want to start from the very beginning. A few months ago, in the beginning of June, I found out about law of attraction and Abraham Hicks. I'm pretty sure you've heard some part of it from different blogs and books and, I don't know, movies. You probably even watched the movie Secret. Remember that one? It was pretty popular a few years ago. The thing is that that movie is actually based on the book by Esther and Jerry Hicks, The Law of Attraction. It's just that they originally were talking about them, but then decided to cut this part out because they thought that people are not ready for that information. But I like this idea about positive thinking, keeping yourself in a good mood, and visualization and meditation. I like this all so much that I was listening to the videos on YouTube of workshops for the whole month non-stop, and I started working on what they are talking about, keeping myself positive and visualizations and learning how to dream, because I obviously forgot how to. And I was so impressed by what they're talking about that for the first week or two I even thought that I just received answers to all my questions and I probably won't have to read books anymore. This is how impressed I was. But you know how it goes, old habits die hard, and I started concentrating more on not being positive, but on the old patterns that I had, all the old limiting beliefs. And I also noticed that my default state is just being annoyed by everything. I'm sure I'm not the only person who is going through this. It's just that this is the state of mind that I have been working on, like a habit I've been working on for ages. And it's sometimes hard to just switch back to being positive, even though you kind of understand that what you're doing and what you're thinking about and what you're concentrating on is not right. So I would wake up in the morning feeling annoyed by the sound of the alarm clock, or neighbors would make some annoying sounds and I would hear them, and then I would be annoyed by my cat doing something, and then I would be annoyed by something on the internet that I read. And I would just go through the whole day being more or less, sometimes more and sometimes less, annoyed by stuff. And so I stopped concentrating on how to be positive and I began paying too much attention to things that I kept thinking about in my head, and I kept analyzing and over-analyzing instead. Why am I thinking this? If I know that I should be more positive, if I know how it works, if I know what it brings, why am I still concentrating on that instead of this? And so the whole summer for me was trying to work in this and trying to concentrate on positive stuff, but then relapsing and beginning to be negative and annoyed by stuff, and then being annoyed by myself being annoyed, and listening to more Abraham and trying to start over again. I practiced and I started noticing really cool stuff happening. There were small things, but they were definitely showing how it works. Like if I would wake up in a good mood, making lists of things I'm grateful for and things I appreciate in my head, and then the bus I needed would just come when I come close to the bus stop. Or I would go to a store and the thing that I need would be on sale, for example. I would spend all morning thinking about butterflies, and then I would wash the dishes and then I would see a butterfly just flying near my window exactly when I look up, all those tiny little beautiful things started happening. And then I would get back to this dark mood for a week and being upset about something and being upset about myself being upset. And so a month ago, I found this podcast. It was Real Rebel podcast, I think, the Real Rebel podcast. And the host was talking about this, about the law of attraction, about how she also found out about Abraham and she was trying to implement the things that they're talking about in her life, in her job, in her relationships. And I was so excited and impressed to find people who also know about this and are not shy to talk about this and to share their wisdom, to share the experience. So I searched for more podcasts like this. I remember I was searching for the law of attraction and manifestation podcasts, and I found a lot of them. And when I started listening daily to those podcasts of people who teach this, who also implement this law of attraction and positive thinking into their everyday life, into their business, into their relationships, I started noticing that it also became easier for me to talk about this, to use it, and not to be angry with me when something doesn't work. And those podcasters teach me about different ways to go about it, to if this method doesn't work and doesn't keep you positive enough, you should also try this or maybe this. And this is why I keep telling you on streams and on my Instagram over and over again that please pay attention to who you spend the most of your time with, because those people will influence you. So you have to choose wisely. Because I just started noticing it within myself. I became more positive. I became more confident. I stopped being so upset when things don't work out, and I don't consider myself a loser, and that I am not just able to learn anything and I need to start again, and that maybe I'm not capable of maintaining that positive attitude, and why even try. I began listening to a lot of people who have the same struggles, and I realized that it's not a big deal, and those negative emotions are okay. You're a human being, you're allowed to feel. It's good that you feel either positive or negative things. It's just that the main idea not to think about this experience, this negative experience over and over and over again, because the deeper you go into thinking about this, the worse you feel and the more time you spend trying to get out of there. I began accepting people around me more for who they are, and I also became confident enough to start talking with you guys about this on streams and start recording videos on the subject, because this is what really matters to me. And I was so shy for a long time, and I was scared of being judged, by these critics who don't really believe this stuff and don't believe anything except that you need to be realist and blah 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 blah. And I also had this habit for a long time, probably since childhood, where I tried to keep neutral, to be neutral and to talk about neutral stuff, so I wouldn't hurt anybody's feelings, but actually kind of also so I wouldn't stick out and be different from the group. And I think because I started listening to these people, to these podcasters every day, it became normal to me to discuss this, to share this, because this is a very important stuff and you guys need to know about this and know how to use it, because it really helps. And I also began seeing differently those limiting beliefs, that we have. And we all have them on different subjects, on money, relationship, career. And if before that I would just, try to stay positive, and then I would find this limiting belief that my brain keeps repeating that I can do that and what's the point, and no one is interested anyway, and no one even cares what you have to say, and all the stuff that was going on in my head. Ouch. And I would obsess over it and analyze why I have it and how to deal with this. And after meeting listening to a lot of people who go through the same things, I just started letting go of these things easier. I wouldn't say that it's just very easy right now, but it's much easier than it was before. and I would just see this limiting belief, and I would be able to think if I need it in my life or not, and let it go a little bit easier. So I listen to this stuff mostly in English because it's almost impossible to find anything in Russian. Like, you might be able to find some audiobooks translated into Russian, but there are not a lot of bloggers. There are definitely not a lot of podcasters who talk about the law of attraction and positive thinking and all this stuff in Russian. And I also want to talk about this in Russian exactly because there is not enough information. And I want to be this person who talks about what Abraham teaches with my examples, with how I implement this in life, with the struggles I'm going through. And I just listen to a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff in my head. I need to share this. So as I mentioned, I wanted to start with the conversation about positive affirmations. But for the last 3 days, I felt so bad. I don't really remember, and I don't want to try to remember why. I've been annoyed and upset and angry, and it's even worse when you know what it brings because you saw how it works, and then you see how it works when you're negative, and you start being annoyed by things, and you keep attracting more of these annoying things into your life, and you see the result, and everything is just crazy. So finally I decided that I need to start all over again. I need to stop this nonsense right now, remind myself, and with the help of the video, and also talk to you about this, how it works and what I should do, and just start doing this again, step by step by step by step. We all had this experience when, for example, we're in love and we wake up in the morning and everything just goes right, and the coffee is even tastier, and the sun is brighter, and people are kinder, and birds are singing louder, and everything just goes great. And then something happens that just ruins your mood, like somebody yells at you on a bus, or I don't know, something happens, and then everything becomes just the opposite. Everyone pisses you off and everything goes wrong, and so how we are all vibrational beings. You probably heard this idea, especially if you watched that movie Secret, and that with our emotions, not thoughts, emotions, we have this point of attraction that attracts more stuff, more people, more circumstances that make you feel exactly the emotion you feel right now. And so if you're feeling a negative emotion and your vibration is low, and you feel like annoyance, or you're angry, or you're pissed, your point of attraction is there, and you start attracting more stuff like this that will make you even sadder, or even more pissed, or even more angry. And then if you feel good, your vibrations are higher, and your point of attraction is also higher. You feel joy, excitement, happiness, and you start attracting more experiences into your life that will make you happier and more excited. So your main idea and my main idea, and what we all need to work on, is to feel good. Try to feel good from the very beginning of your day till the very end. And there are two good things about this. First, if you start from the very beginning of your day, it's actually not that difficult. It's pretty easy to make yourself feel good. And the second great thing that you will notice when you start working on your positive attitude is that your good mood doesn't depend on anybody else around you and anything else around you. And it's great news, because now you won't be dependent on your relatives, on your parents, on your children, on your loved ones, on your pets to act in a specific way so you would feel good, because you will realize that no matter what they do, you can still feel good. You won't rely on them, and at the same time you won't give them the responsibility to always consider your mood and try to make you happy all the time, because you know that it's kind of impossible to try to make somebody happy when they don't feel like it, right? So what you should do is, first of all, you make a list of things that make you happy. Just random things, all of the things that make you happy. Keep it somewhere in front of your eyes when you can see it, either on your phone, in your notes, or on a piece of paper, and add there things as soon as you remember something else that makes you happy. It can be reading some specific book, a few pages that you read and you feel better. It can be your favorite music that always, always, always cheers you up. Create a playlist of songs that always make you feel better. It can be creating a list of things that you appreciate. You probably also heard about this. Like when you feel down, you just start creating a list of things that matter to you the most, and it doesn't have to be something really spiritual and big. Start with something small that actually works for you. Like, for example, I don't know, yesterday you forgot to pay for your internet and you didn't have it, and today you do, and oh, God bless internet, I'm connected again. It can be just dancing around your apartment for some time, or jumping. I remember when I worked in the office, the only place I could escape to is toilet, and I would just, when something happens, when I get annoyed by my colleagues or I don't know stuff, I would go to the toilet and I would just close the door and I would set a timer for 3 minutes and I would just jump for 3 minutes, so I would, get rid of this negative energy and feel different. It can be a bar of chocolate, or very yummy tea or cocoa with marshmallow, or hugging your friend, or hugging your loved one, or hugging your pet. And so you make the list of those things and you pick the things from that list that you are able to do in the morning. And right after waking up, before you grab your phone and check your notifications, you just do something that puts you on this, high flying disc. What I do right after waking up is, I read about this on some blog. I would wake up in the morning and think about 3 things that I'm grateful for. Mouse is sleeping next to me and purring. Mouse, I mean my cat. And it's raining outside and I love the sound of rain. And I woke up by myself without the help of neighbors who are renovating the apartment for months now. So I slept good and it's also great. And then one thing why I think today is gonna be a great day, and then one thing, or maybe a couple, what I love about myself. It's a pretty easy habit because you don't have to, go through the list of 15 things. It's just 5. You can always think of something like that, and it automatically already puts you in a better mood. So the next step you do is you try to make yourself feel even better. So you either cuddle with your pets, or you turn on the music and you go make yourself coffee already dancing, or you turn on your favorite podcast or some inspirational videos on YouTube and you listen to them. If you want to know what I listen to, which podcasts, write it down in the comments and I will share. Comments in the comments. Take the responsibility to feel good from the very beginning of your day, no matter what. Because when you feel good, you start noticing that things are going easier during the day, and you tolerate people more and accept and, being friendlier. And people are actually friendly to you when you're friendly to them. Duh. If you put your attention and you spend time trying to make yourself feel good in the very beginning of your day, you will create this point of attraction that attracts more positive experiences during the day. It works. So you make yourself feel good in the morning, and then you see how far during the day you can go without ruining your mood. And if something goes wrong, because it might, we're human beings, and you notice that you're not in a good mood, you take your list and you do something from that list that puts you back in a good mood again. You listen to your favorite song, you dance a little, or you go and jump for 3 minutes where no one can see you, or you go for a walk, or you take a nap. and you wake up and start again. Please don't think that you're a failure if things were going great and then you notice that you're being annoyed again or pissed again, because it's just a habit of thinking and you were developing this habit of thinking for years. So give yourself time to develop a new habit. Just don't get into that negative emotion. Don't start analyzing it and thinking why you feel bad and whose fault is that. It seems that you don't have a choice, and you actually do. It's always a choice. Either you go deeper into that negative feeling, or you say just stop, okay, we're not paying attention to this. And in a few days of practicing that, you will notice that it gets easier for you to at least notice that, wait a second, right now I'm doing exactly what I was trying not to do all this time, so let's just stop and not go there and think about something positive and just distract ourselves. Being in a good mood is actually a foundation, and everything else that you do, visualization, positive affirmations, listening to podcasts and audiobooks, everything just works better when you work on your attitude first. And besides, when you feel good, it just feels good. I think it's already a good reason to try. So that's all I was going to share with you today. Thank you so much for listening. Share in the comments what makes you feel good. I hope you are having a lovely day, and I will see you next time.
A few months ago, think about maintaining that positive vibrations are low and low. Main thing you need to work on, and the main thing you concentrate on. Read about the law of attraction and positive thinking.